So welcome, happy Tuesday. Yeah, welcome. I just came from a funny interaction with my kitchen, trying to make falafel without a food processor, and I was just like, this was a mistake. Like, you can't do this with a blender. Like, I don't know why I thought that was a thing. um, so that's where I'm coming from. So maybe you're coming from tension in your day, or just kind of like feeling a lot of energy. Maybe you're not feeling a lot of energy. So wherever you're at, we'll start to settle in. Maybe your hands can rest on your legs. And just take a moment to take a few deep breaths. So we'll take clearing breaths in through the nose and exhale out the mouth, sigh it out. And just two more easy breaths like that. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, release tension, release whatever you're holding on to. And last time. Eventually start to just let yourself settle in, soften, and find some stillness. And eventually, once you've become aware of your surroundings, maybe let any distractions around you sort of land, start to direct your attention to your body and how your body moves as you breathe. So right away you might be noticing expansion as you inhale and a slight contraction or a sense of release as you exhale. And you might just observe that for the next few rounds of breath. And as you cultivate this awareness of your breath, start to notice any thoughts that start to come up in stillness. And if you start to wander away at all, just returning your attention to the inhale and the exhale. Potentially that helps you come back to your practice. So let's take 3 more breaths. This time we'll start to deepen. So the breath, maybe rather than just expanding forward, see if you can draw it to the side body, to the back body. So nice round quality to the breath. And just find that easy exhale. 2 more times like that on your own. Eventually start to bring your hands to heart center and bring to mind what brought you to your practice today, or maybe what brings you, what interests you in yoga. Maybe there's a dedication you have. Maybe you're dedicating your practice to yourself and your own wellness. But whatever that is, bring that to mind. And we'll open practice with the sound of 3 ohms. If you would rather not chant Om, you can just listen to me. But we'll take a full exhale out first, full inhale in to start. As you exhale, start to lower your hands down, blink your eyes open, start to lift your gaze. And I'm going to move off of my block and sit cross-legged. If you're sitting cross-legged, cross your opposite leg in front. And we'll start to inhale and circle the arms out and up. Reach up, fingertips touch at the top, and trace the midline through center, and bring your hands back down. So 2 more times like that, just inhaling, reaching the arms out and up, and tracing the midline, bringing the hands through heart center and down. So just finding out how your shoulders are maybe doing, And exhale, draw everything through center. We'll inhale, circle the arms out and up again. And as you exhale, twist over to your right side. So I'll mirror you here, twisting over to your right. And follow your breath to unwind through center as you inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. So we'll do about 3 rounds on each side. So just continue to follow your breath with that fluid movement, twisting side to side, using your full inhale to reach up through center. And maybe in the next round or two, the next time you twist to the right side, so finish out your round, but the next time you twist to the right, we'll find a pause. So left hand is planted behind, maybe your fingertips are on the ground, or that right hand, sorry, that left hand can press on the right thigh as you deepen your twist. So anytime we're finding resistance, always check in and make sure you're not trying to crank your joints. Still find length in the spine. 2 more breaths. Breathe into your belly. Let the exhale flow all the way out. And next, inhale, unwind through center and twist to the left side. So same thing here, that left hand is behind, fingertips may be tented. And the right hand can press on that left thigh, but keep that right hip heavy, so hips pretty much don't shift around here. And crown of the head rises to the sky. One more deep breath into the belly, stay for the exhale. And we'll inhale, unwind through center, reach up. And exhale, plant your hands in front of your knees, and we'll find tabletop. So you can roll over your knees or find your way there your own way. But hands and knees. And as you inhale, we'll start to drop the belly, heart forward, tailbone up, cow pose. Exhale, chin to chest, round the spine. So moving through your cat and cow with your breath. So every inhale, that belly drops, space at the front of the heart. Every exhale, space at the back of the heart, chin to chest. And start to be aware of how your body feels today. Maybe you can imagine this as creating waves in the spine, initiated by your tailbone. In the next round or breath or two, start to walk your hands forward and extend your hips as you inhale. So kind of like we're in an upward facing dog, but knees stay down. And exhale, hips toward the heels, toward child's pose. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhale the heart forward, shoulders over the wrists, extend the hips, and exhale, hug belly button to spine as your hips sit to your heels. And that last time we sit hips to heels, let's stay there. So stay in your child's pose, forehead can rest down. Let's just find 3 deep breaths into wherever you're feeling this. If you have a lot of effort reaching forward, let's soften that effort a little bit. One more breath here. And next inhale, start to lift your forehead up. Keep your hands walked forward, and we'll walk them over to the right side of the mat. So maybe you can stack your left hand on top of the right, but know that having hands side by side is just fine. But we're sitting the left hip back and down, forehead rests down. 2 more breaths. Next, inhale, lift your forehead, walk your hands through center and over to the left. Same thing here, draw that right hip crease back. You can stack the right hand on the left or just keep hands side by side. Whatever you do, neck, shoulders are relaxed. 2 deep breaths into your right side body, feeling all of that space open up. And next inhale, walk your hands through center. Keep your hands reaching forward and start to slide your hips over to the right. So slide your hips over to the right and we'll draw a big half circle with the hips as you draw your heart forward and sit your hips to the left and back to your child's pose. So we'll do this direction about 3 times total. So drawing hips in a circle. So take your time with this. Maybe you're noticing any tough spots, and we'll reverse direction. Next time you sit your hips to child's pose, reverse direction. And a few times this way. And eventually the next time you sit your hips to your child's pose, we'll come back up to tabletop. And in your tabletop, step the left leg back, tuck the toes. We can find a rock forward and back. Maybe you're pausing in that place where you're feeling a calf stretch and you can breathe there for the next 2 breaths. Eventually, we'll make sure the shoulders are right over the wrists again. Start to brace your core in through center, and maybe you're floating that left leg up. So left foot starts to leave the ground, left leg is parallel to the ground. Notice if your belly dropped, and let's hug that back in. And take an inhale here. As you exhale, we'll draw knee to nose, round your back like you're in cat. Inhale, kick that left leg back out like you're pressing a wall behind you. As you exhale, draw left knee to left elbow, and inhale, press that left foot behind you. Last time we'll cross left knee towards right elbow. So drawing the left knee across the body, and inhale through center again. Start to lower the left foot down, tuck the toes, and then plant the left foot all the way down. So we're heading into a side plank variation here. Kickstand the right shin behind you and lift the left arm up. Yeah, so knife edge of that left foot is planted down. Take a moment here. If you feel kind of crunched through your right side at all, and if you have a block, you could put a block under that hand, but know that it's not necessary. All right, start to engage your core. So draw your pubic bone to your belly button and see if this helps you start to lift that left leg up. So we're floating the left leg parallel to the ground. If you'd like to add that in. And take a breath here. Keep reaching through your fingertips, pressing through that foot. And with control, start to lower that left foot down. And a little bit of a core challenge here. So bring your left hand to your waist and start to see what it would be like to come onto your right fingertips. So right fingertips are down, and maybe you start to lift up so much that you can bring your hands behind your back. So core is probably hugged in a bit here. Yeah, it's like we're in that Michael Jackson video. It's always what I think of. Okay, so one more breath here. And start to lower the right hand down. Start to lower the left hand down. Left knee down. And wiggle through your cat and cow. Take any intuitive movement. And whenever I say intuitive movement, that means that you could return to that circling of the hips, whatever feels good to you. And eventually we'll find that neutral tabletop and step your right foot back. So right foot steps back, second side. So right away we're engaging the core. Start to float that right leg up. So we're pressing that wall behind us. Press your hands down into the mat. Notice how this side feels different, and we'll take that flow, exhale, knee to nose, round the spine. Inhale, press that right foot back, and exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, kick it back, and we'll cross it over to the left. Right knee to left elbow. And inhale, kick it back, drop that right foot down, pivot onto the knife edge, well, plant the right foot down, pivot that left shin behind you, and reach the right arm up. So side plank on the left side. Yeah, so we'll take a moment here and add in that float of the right leg if you'd like to. Yeah, right leg can float up. So that outer right hip is working here. Soften the jaw. Just notice what muscles need to work to find this pose. And eventually start to lower the right foot down. Take your time and bring that right hand to right hip, and we'll start to float that left hand. So you can take your time coming to your fingertips first. Slowly build that core strength, and maybe you bring your hands behind you. So you can press through that right foot. See if you can soften your shoulders. And one more breath here. With control, lower the left hand down, the right hand down, right knee down. Move through cat and cow, any intuitive movement. Eventually we'll meet in downward facing dog. So you can tuck your toes, lift the hips, pedal out your feet if you would like. Find movement or stillness. And make sure your fingers are spread wide. Knuckles are rooting down. You can create that sense of suction through the palm of the hand by kind of pressing your knuckles down and pressing the palm of the hand down, or that fatty part of your hand, I guess. Alright, tailbone lifts to the sky. 2 more breaths. Eventually you start to look to your hands, bend your knees a lot, and we'll take a walk forward to fold. So take baby steps, fold forward, and let the head hang. You can grab opposite elbows, find a sway side to side. Eventually, if you have opposite elbows, start to release your hands down. We'll bend the knees a lot, and if it's okay for your low back, start to roll up one vertebra at a time, like you're stacking your low back, mid back, and upper back on one another. Head can come up last. And let's take a few shoulder rolls as you rise up. So you can shrug your shoulders up and down. Eventually let your hands settle down by your sides. So we're in Tadasana, that nice active standing pose, mountain pose. Crown of the head rises to the sky. Take an inhale, circle the arms out and up, reach up. Exhale, reach your arms out and down as you hinge forward to fold. Halfway lift to inhale, so fingertips to shins, core is parallel to the ground, and exhale, fold. Step that right foot back for runner's lunge, and we'll drop the right knee down. So right knee drops down and lift up to Anjaneyasana. So settle in here, find that interesting place, and start to draw pubic bone to belly button, so we want a little bit of core engagement. And if you're reaching up, see if you can soften your shoulders a little bit. So make this nice and easy. Maybe even turn your pinkies to face one another. Yeah. One more breath here. And exhale, plant your hands down. And step back to plank on or off the knees. So you can be on your knees or off. Either one. But we'll press the mat away. Start to drag your hands and feet towards one another if your knees are off the ground. And you might even use that if your knees are on the ground. sense of hands dragging back to your knees. Eventually, we'll all lower the knees down, shift your shoulders ahead of your wrists, and we'll take 3 chaturanga prep push-ups. So that just means elbows bend to the back of the mat like we're doing a tricep push-up 3 times. And eventually start to tilt your tailbone up like we're in cow pose. Yeah, so arch your back and drop your chest and chin between your hands. Lower your belly down. Hands plant by your ribs and peel your heart up off of the ground for your low cobra. So draw your elbows toward one another, lift the heart, exhale, lower. 2 more times like that. Inhale, lift the heart, exhale, lower down. Maybe this next time, as you lift your heart, your hands can feel a little light, and exhale, lower down. Find plank pose, on or off the knees, downward facing dog as you exhale. Lift that right leg up, 3-legged dog. Keep your hands and feet, or your foot, evenly weighted. And as you exhale, we'll draw knee to nose, step the right foot forward. Runner's lunge, drop to the left knee, and reach your arms up. So notice how it feels different on this side. We're still keeping a little core engagement, and you can find that interesting place. One more breath. And next exhale, plant your hands down, tuck the left toes under, step forward, and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, exhale, fold, press into the feet, rise up, and bring hands to heart center and down. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, soften the knees. Halfway lift to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Step the left foot back, runner's lunge, drop to the left knee, rise up. So we'll do about 1 breath per movement here. Exhale, hands plant down, step back, plank pose. In your plank pose, we'll lower the knees down, and you can take the option to find those few little pulses of a push-up. Eventually that can lead you to knees, chest, chin, tailbone points up, heart and chin lower down. Inhale, your heart lifts for low cobra 1 time. Exhale, lower. And move through plank to downward facing dog. So that flow is always optional. If you have a different flow you like to do, you're always welcome to add that in as well. Start to lift that left leg up to the sky, 3-legged dog. Exhale, draw knee to nose, hug that thigh towards your chest as you step left foot forward, runner's lunge. Step the right foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, exhale, fold. Press into your feet, rise up, and bring hands to heart center. So we'll add in chair pose. If you like doing it with the block, add that in here, or you can do it without the block. So whatever you do, we're squeezing the thighs together, hands at heart center, sit the hips back and down. Shins are energetically moving back. So you'll see my knees aren't over here, they're kind of over my ankles. So find that place that's interesting. Maybe slightly draw, well, keep your back neutral-ish, just make sure you're not arching your back. And 2 more breaths. Alright, eventually exhale, fold forward, remove your block, and step that right foot back for runner's lunge. Start to drop your right knee down, lift up, reach up, and we'll start to layer on. So start to grab your right wrist with your left hand, and we'll side bend over to the left. So side bending to the left, and inhale through center. Exhale, plant your hands down. Plant your right hand down and lift that left hand up. Find your twist with the right knee down. And exhale, plant the left hand down. Step back to plank pose, but find your your place here. And if you want to add side plank on just the arms without the knee down, turn your toes to the left, heels to the right, and lift that left arm up. So you can stagger your feet how I'm doing it, or you can stack your feet. So stagger or stack. Yeah. And if ever this gets crazy, you'll lower that right knee down. Eventually start to make your way through plank in the center and turn your way over to the left. So same thing here. You can just draw your heels to the left, toes to the right, reach that right arm up, hips lift, or you can have left knee down as well, or stack the legs. All right, plank pose. Lower down knees, chest, chin. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, lower. And plank pose to downward facing dog. Take an inhale, we'll lift that right leg up, three-legged dog. As you exhale, we'll draw knee to nose, hug shoulders over wrists, and inhale, kick it back, three-legged dog. As you exhale, draw right knee to right elbow. So same thing we kind of did on the knees, and inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, draw right knee to left elbow. They don't have to touch, but just that sense that they are going to touch. And inhale through center. Exhale, step that right foot forward, runner's lunge. Find some length here, so crown of the head points forward for a moment, and step the left foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, exhale, fold, press into the feet, rise up, and bring hands to heart center. Prepare for your chair pose. So chair pose your way. We'll squeeze the thighs toward one another, sit the hips back. Legs are either hip distance apart or together. So whatever feels good for you. 2 more breaths. Option if you want to reach the arms forward. And exhale, fold. Step your left foot back, runner's lunge, and drop to the left knee. And we'll inhale, rise up, Anjaneyasana on this side. So start to settle in. And actually make sure that your hips are kind of over that left leg. Grab hold of the left wrist and we'll side bend to the right. So side bending to the right. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. And inhale through center. Exhale, plant your hands down. Left hand plants down. Right arm reaches up for a twist. And exhale, plant your right hand down. Step back to plank pose. And we'll play with side plank here. So take your options. So left first. So side plank on the left hand first. Right arm reaches up. You can stagger your legs or stack. Lift your hips up to the sky. Yeah. And when you're ready, start to move over to the right side. So plank pose, shift your hand to the right, and lift the left hand to the sky. Alright, when you're ready, it's plank in the center. Flow your way to down dog. Maybe that just means from plank you lift the hips up. If you want to lower knees, chest, chin, you're welcome to do that as well. And once you're in down dog, start to lift that left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Hips are square, hands and foot are evenly weighted, and exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. So maybe you're finding a gentle tap, maybe there's space. Exhale, cross it over to the right. And inhale through center, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Runner's lunge, find a little bit of length first. And we'll step the right foot forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet. Circle your arms out and up, reach up. And bring hands to heart center. Take a breath. Just notice the heat that's kind of built up. Notice anything that's shifting in your body. And we'll start to sit back, chair pose. And in your chair pose, we'll start to find a little balance challenge here. So start to pour weight into your left leg, and maybe that means that the right heel draws to your right glute. So like we're a bird. And we'll step that right foot back for warrior one. So reach your arms up. That right foot is planted down. Legs or feet are hip distance or even wider. And hips are square as we can get them to the front. And take a breath here. Option to add on if you want to bring your hands in prayer. You can bring your thumbs to the back of the head and find a gentle lean back. So if you're doing this, we'll pull that pubic bone to belly button and just find that control. So never dumping into the low back. Keep pressing through the knife edge of that right foot and the heel of the left foot. And eventually lift yourself up through center. Reach your arms up. Exhale, plant your hands down. Lift that right heel for a runner's lunge. Okay, so another option for side plank here. So I'll just show you what that is. It's kind of funky to explain. So we'll plant the right hand down and start to heel toe. Okay, I need to turn. So right hand's planted down and heel toe that left foot out so that you're eventually in this shape. So knife edge of the right foot's down, left foot's planted in front of your hips somewhere, and maybe you're pressing through that foot and, well, both of your feet to find the side plank here. All right, one breath. Next, exhale with control, lower the left hand down and step back, downward facing dog. Lift the hips, press through your knuckles of your hands. And we'll start to lift that right heel up to the sky. As you exhale, draw knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. And option to start to straighten your right leg in front of you. Yeah, so right leg straightens in front of you, and maybe you can peel your left hand off of the mat and lift it up to the sky. So hips lift, fall in triangle. All right, so keep your hips lifted nice and strong. And exhale, plant your left hand down, step back, downward facing dog. Look to your hands, bend your knees a lot, and walk, step, or hop to fold forward. Halfway lift to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, press into your feet, rise all the way up, and bring hands to heart center. So just take a few breaths. I know that was a bit of a ride. And we'll find chair pose again. So heart breathes to the thumb, sit the hips back. Start to pour weight into that right foot and lift the left heel to left glute. Step back with control, warrior one. Arms reach up. Scissor your thighs together, draw that right hip crease back. Eventually, maybe your arms lift. And if you took it the first time, you can bring your hands together and set your thumbs on your neck, sort of that curve at the bottom of your skull. An option to hug your core in as you lean your head into your hands. So nice and spacious, legs are active and working, breath is flowing. All right, one more breath here. And when you're ready, we'll lift the arms up. Exhale, plant your hands down, For your runner's lunge, and let's find that funky side plank transition here. So heel toe, that right foot over to the right, press into that right foot, press into the knife edge of your left foot, side plank variation. Look up to that hand if that feels comfortable. Alright, nice. With control, right hand plants down, step back, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, start to lift that left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. And last time, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Option to start to straighten that left leg. Option to lift up the right arm, fallen triangle. So hips are lifting nice and strong. Ooh, one more breath. And exhale, right hand plants down. Step back, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Eventually, let's lower the knees down. Sit the hips to the heels, find child's pose. So feel free to let your arms just relax. You can even bring your hands under your forehead. Make a little pillow, find a few breaths. So I'll start to wind it down now. So start to just breathe into this space of being still. Notice any shifts that have happened for you. Alright, with control, we'll start to slowly lift up tabletop. And we'll inhale, that right arm lifts to the sky. So like we're finding a twist, right arm lifts to the sky. Exhale, thread it behind that left arm like you're reaching under the bed. We'll do this 2 more times. So inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, thread it behind the left arm and hover the shoulder off of the ground. And last time. Reach up to the sky. Exhale, thread it behind the left arm. This time, let that right shoulder, right ear lower down. And as you settle in here, you can walk that left hand forward. Maybe that left arm sort of crosses over your left ear. And just take a few breaths into the sensation. Start to settle into heaviness, so any sense of trying to lift your head off of the mat, let that go and just let your head be heavy. That shoulder is heavy. And 2 more breaths. Alright, when you're ready, start to walk that left hand back, lift the right arm up to the sky, and reach it forward and down. Cat and cow if you'd like. Any wiggles to get that side out, and we'll find second side. So inhale, that left arm reaches up. Exhale, thread it behind that right arm and hover the shoulder ear off of the mat 2 times. Follow your breath. Inhale to reach up, exhale to thread it under. And that last time, whenever that is that you thread that left hand behind the right, we'll drop the left shoulder down, left ear down. That right arm can slowly start to walk forward. use your next few exhales to just let the head be heavy, shoulders are heavy. Take some big breaths into that space between your shoulder blades or any other place that you're feeling sensation. Let's find 2 more breaths here. Eventually start to bring that right hand back. If it was forward, press into that right hand. Lift the left arm up and set the left hand down. Start to lower all the way onto your belly and rest your forehead on your hands. So crocodile pose. We're just finding some heaviness here. Notice where the breath invites space, where it meets a little resistance. And just find 3 more big breaths like that. With your next breath or 2 in, start to straighten your arms out at a T and bring your left hand by your left rib. So we'll eventually press into the left hand and roll as much to your right side as feels comfortable with that right arm stretched out. So I'll stand up and kind of show you, or actually I'll turn this way and show you. So right arm stretched out, you're rolling onto your right side as much as feels comfortable. And depending on what your mobility is like, you might need to bend that left knee and set that left shin in front of you if you need a little kickstand. If you can have that left leg on top of the right, option to bend that top leg and set that left foot behind the right hip. And we'll just breathe into the front body. Maybe you're feeling a little stretch through your pec muscles. Three more breaths on this side. Soften where you can. Eventually make your exit. Take your time to roll onto your belly. Straighten out that left arm. Plant your right hand by your right ribs. Same thing on this side. We'll roll onto the left side as much as you can that feels comfortable. So that can mean you're kickstanding that right leg in front of you, how I showed earlier. And see if you can find that balance between effort and ease here. And just know that if anything ever feels like too much, you're always welcome to exit out in a way that feels supportive for you. eventually 3 breaths to finish this pose. And when you've finished your 3 breaths, take a slow roll onto your belly, and we'll flip onto our backs, so however you want to get there. And if you have blocks, make sure you have at least one by your side for when you roll onto your back. And we'll eventually hug knees to chest, give yourself a rock side to side. Take a little bit of movement. And set your feet down, heels right under your knees. And we'll just find a couple rounds of bridge pose. So you can put that block between the thighs. You can just have knees hip distance, hands by your hips. Squeeze your thighs toward one another and lift the hips on your inhale. So right away, start to check in with what your tailbone is doing. If you feel your back is arched, like cow pose, let's start to make it a little more like cat, so tailbone draws toward your pubic bone or toward your knees. Press into your heels, squeeze your thighs, feel your hips lift. You can find 3 more breaths like this. If you're squeezing that block, keep squeezing at the top. Keep relaxation in the shoulders and the breath. And when you're ready, start to lower down. You can remove your block and windshield wiper your knees side to side. And second round, with or without your block, start to make sure your heels are right under your knees again. Squeeze your thighs together. Draw your tailbone towards your knees and lift up as you inhale. So bridge pose. And if you like to grab the edges of your mat, if it's available for you to grab your hands, maybe roll your shoulders under you, you can add that in as well. But know that layering on isn't always better. So if you found that interesting place, just enjoy that and breathe into that. 2 more deep breaths. And eventually start to lower your back down. Hug knees to chest. Give yourself a rock side to side. Start to reach your arms out at a T, and we'll eventually draw the knees over to the right side for supine twist. So knees draw over to the right. Feel free to turn your head, look to the left. Few breaths here into the belly. And every exhale, start to let your shoulders feel really heavy, especially that left shoulder. If it's not on the ground, that's okay, as long as it's kind of at least melting down toward the ground. That's what we want. Soften the jaw, your face. Allow yourself to be heavy. Three more deep breaths on this side. See if you can draw the breath all the way down to the belly, even if there's a little resistance at the twist. See how the exhale kind of wrings you out at the waist. Eventually start to turn your head through center, Draw your knees through center and over to the left. So knees over to the left, you can lift and turn your head over to the right. That right shoulder melts down. Allow yourself to just let gravity do the work here. More deep breaths into your belly. And take your time to exit. You can draw your right knee up, then your left. Hug knees through center. And a couple of options, if you feel called to happy baby, start to draw your knees to your armpits and soles of the feet point to the sky. Hands can land on your shins, ankles, or to your feet. And eventually you can lower your feet down and bring your feet together, knees apart. Palms can face the sky, so butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. And just allow yourself to feel heavy here. Release any effort in the glutes, in the shoulders, in your face. We'll be here for about 5 more rounds of breath. If you'd like to, you're welcome to count your own breath. An inhale and an exhale would be 1 round. If you're really enjoying this pose, you're welcome to stay here a little bit longer. When you're ready to exit, bring your hands to your thighs and draw your legs together and straighten your legs out for Shavasana your way. So if you want to add in anything that would make you feel comfortable, maybe a blanket over your body or layers of clothing, feel free to do that. But once you arrive, you can let your palms face the sky. Feel free to take up some space, as much space as you have available. And then bring your attention to your imprint of your body on the ground. And maybe you can start to let your body sink into your mat just a little bit more. Maybe you're consciously aware of areas that are still resisting gravity, and you can just invite them to soften. You can continue that practice for the next few exhales. Eventually, you might find that moment of stillness where you can just watch your thoughts, or maybe there are spaces between each thought. Feel free to stay as you are for as long as you'd like to. If you feel called to movement, that can start with a deep breath that fills your lungs up all the way, and just let that exhale maybe sigh it all the way out. Feel free to move your hands, feet, arms, and legs. Small movements that eventually grow bigger at your own pace. Eventually, you might roll onto one side and take your time to get there. You might pause there and find a few rounds of breath, just enjoying that transition. And eventually you can find your seat. As you rise up, keep your gaze soft, eyes can be even closed, hands rest wherever's comfortable. And just breathe length into the spine, heaviness into your seat. Eventually, hands will come to heart center. And this is our gesture of honoring the practice we've cultivated this evening. You can bring to mind your intention, your dedication for your practice. And maybe just acknowledge the shifts that you've cultivated, either in line with that intention, maybe something new came up. And we'll seal our practice with a single Om, the sound of yoga itself, the seed syllable. That's also representative of all the cycles we experience in our lives. If you want to join in, full exhale first, full inhale to start. Bowing our heads to our hearts, we honor the practice we've done today. May our practice bear fruit, and may that fruit benefit all beings everywhere. I will end with thank you. Thank you for joining in, hanging in there. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. That was a little bit of a more intense one, so yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad to have y'all.